Should be recording now. There it is. Welcome everyone to the first session of the Excel Toronto Meetup in 2026. We took a long Christmas, New Year break, but we are all set up now. We have sessions booked until beginning of June. Some of them are already published. So there's a lot for us to learn in this new year, and I want to welcome everyone and wish you a happy new year. Although it's a little, sounds like a little bit late for that, but it is what it is. Thank you for joining us. Today we have Liam Bastick, Chris, Sam, and Valentina. And am I missing someone else from the team? Olaf? No, Olaf, no. Who else am I missing?
There is someone hiding actually in the
Yeah,
team.
okay. Yeah,
Ilgar's
okay.
here as well, but he's part of the audience.
Welcome, everyone. I will introduce you in a bit. And for now, let me just share my screen here to show you a few announcements. Okay, should be seeing my PowerPoint here. And we are recording the session. Be mindful of that, because if you don't, let me take this out of the way, if you don't consent being part of the recording, you need to drop the call and catch up with the recording later. All the videos or most of the session videos are posted in our YouTube channel. Feel free to keep an eye on that, but you will also receive an email after this session in a couple of days with the recording, okay? With the link and any files or information shared by the presenters. My name is Celia Alves. In case you don't know me, I am an Excel MVP and I work for Sheetcast, who happens to be our lead sponsor, as a business analyst. I started this group more than 6 years ago. I was not working for Sheetcast at that time. I was working as an Excel consultant, have done quite a lot of work in terms of building Excel solutions, also producing training content on YouTube, on courses and whatnot. So I've been around a while in terms of Excel, in different fronts. And this group was created to bring professionals together, people who like Excel, who want to share and learn what they know, what they know about Excel. And every month we meet here, sometimes once, other times twice a month, in the month, to learn from the experts around the world. Aurora, would you like to say hello? Aurora is co-hosting with me as well.
Hello, I'm Aurora. I'm a freelance consultant based in Toronto. I'm providing data analytics solutions using Microsoft products, and I'm a big fan of Excel. I will be posting resources and links in the chat and monitoring it for questions. And now let's learn together today from our guest Liam and the team from Sun Product.
Thank you. Thank you. A big shout out as well for our volunteers, Anthony, Licinian, Phil, and Valeria. They help with the chapters on YouTube, and all the work is done for free and as a volunteering work. Everyone in the organization, myself, Aurora, the volunteers, and also the work here by the presenters. So it's a privilege for us to have the opportunity to learn from people who just give their knowledge and time to us for free. So let's thank them for that. Thank you for our sponsors as well. They covered for the subscription of this platform that is not cheap. Sheetcast is an Excel add-in that allows you to transform your Excel workbooks into web applications. Pretty cool, if I may say so. I'm a little bit biased though, but we do have training available, free workshops that you can register for and come and join us to learn how to do that, how to use that tool. Feel free to check that out. Okay. And other sponsors, Solvent Excel is my consulting company. And MrExcel.com offers us 20% off any digital books from his store. So feel free to check that out. We will put links for that as well. Women in Excel on LinkedIn is, as the name says, a group for women who like Excel. And these are our next sessions coming up in February, March, and April. We will have Jacob Nielsen from the Excel team at Microsoft teaching us about data types, and also showing us an add-in that he created that allows us to have add-ins based in Excel only and not Power BI necessarily, although you can also use not add-ins, data types from Power BI. So data types allows you to organize your lookup data that you have in your company, maybe products, maybe clients, other information. And we used to have that information available, that tool available, that feature, data types for enterprise in Excel. That is not available anymore, but we have a solution for that with Jacob's tool. But he will be teaching us all about data types in that session. Then we will have Eric OM teaching us about micro automations, how to create different types of automations with macros, with dynamic arrays, with Python, and then how to have those micro automations always available in your workbooks for when you need them. And then David Ringstrom, he's an author, has written a couple of Excel books. He will be joining us for a session about Excel pranks, but these pranks are just a way of teaching us different core concepts of Excel. So it will be a fun session as well. So there you go. We have already all these sessions prepared, and there's more to come after. Feel free to register as they come along. In here, I would like to show you, let me just escape here to copy this. As members of the Excel, of the Toronto Meetup, you have access to a number of perks, and they are all consolidated into this app that I will be putting in the chat the link later, or maybe Aurora has it. And if you go through here, this is a Sheetcast app, by the way. If you go through here, you will see we have events, books, training, and whatnot. So calling your attention for the next big Excel events, the Global Excel Summit happening in May. And we will have 5 tickets to give away that the winners can select if they want to have an in-person ticket or a live, an online ticket. So the travel is not covered, but the ticket is covered for 5 people. So I will give you a form, and in that form, in a minute, there's a QR code in the form, and you will have the ability to see what is needed to participate. Basically, you will have to play with Sheetcast a little bit if you want to take your chances. Then we will also have the Excel Championship at the end of the year. Tickets are on sale already. And if you want, you can have 10% off those tickets. And the ticket price increases every week or every month or something like that. So the sooner you buy it, the better. There's also the image is too big to show. There's also a QR code for this. So come here, you will find the QR codes or the coupon codes and whatnot to take advantage for this. 20% off books at Mr. Excel bookstore. Discount on trainings and other events, tools that we recommend, and other learning resources. I would call your attention to the one here. Where is it? Excel exercise files. So if you click on view details, you can find all the exercise files from the previous sessions. Okay, if you decide to go and watch a previous session and practice along, you will have the files that were shared in this shared folder. Okay, so just just bookmark this and take advantage of these perks anytime you'd like. So this is the QR code that you can use for take your chances, participate in the draw for one of the 5 free tickets for the Global Excel Summit happening in London in person or online. It happens in both places. You can choose as a winner which one you prefer. Other details will be available. This PDF will be available for you guys, this presentation as a PDF. So enough talking. Thank you so much for joining us. We have Liam, Valentina, Sam, and Chris with us, and apparently a few more hidden there. I'm just going to read very quickly Liam's bio here, and along with him, he brought an experienced team of financial modelers that work with him at his company, Some Product. So Liam heads a boutique consulting company, Some Product, and is a 15-time Excel MVP and author of over a dozen of books on financial modeling. So it's a real pleasure and the privilege to learn from you, Liam. Excel, besides financial modeling, Excel, Power BI, and AI as well. The content of those, the topics on those books. He writes for various accounting institutions around the world and has over 40 years of experience in corporate finance and consulting. Liam won the inaugural Lifetime Achievement Award for Financial Modeling in 2021 and was one of the 3 finalists for a similar award in Excel in 2023. Be careful of his sense of humor. This was written by Liam, so I can read it as well. I can advise you about that. Liam will be supported by 3 of the Some Product team members who have a significant experience in AI and financial modeling. Again, thank you to the entire team for joining us. The floor is yours. Tell us what I may have missed about your introducing your, make an introduction about you and just tell us what you have for us today.
No, thank you. Well, I think that's all we have time for today. So apologies. We'll see you again next time. No, sorry. Look, I think that's fine in terms of some of the stuff that Celia said is even true. But no, I have been around in this game for a long time. A lot of what we do is not the world's most exciting stuff. I don't think any Hollywood blockbuster movies are coming out anytime soon on it, which is why I've got a rather terrible sense of humour. Look, the reason I brought so many people with me today, and Ilgar Zabaliev, who's another MVP, is in the crowd today and wanted to be part of it. We just thought that it was a case of it is supposed to be rehearsed, and he will happily answer questions if you want to. It's just the fact that we wanted to show we're all working in different areas here, and we wanted to show the different parts, and the people here are specialists in the areas they're talking about, and I'm really just the fraud at the beginning that's introducing it all. Now I'm going to introduce the team fully in a few minutes on AI tools for financial modeling, but I thought I'd hand straight over to Valentina, who just wants to tell you something right off the bat, don't you, Valentina, if you want to share your screen?
Sure.
You know, we're standing right at the edge of a massive shift in the world of finance, and it's all being driven by AI. The promise here is huge, right? We're talking faster insights, way more accurate forecasts, but in a field where one tiny misplaced decimal can cause a catastrophe, there's one question that's more important than anything else. Can we actually trust the numbers? Let's dive in and find out. I love this quote because it just hits the nail on the head. This whole conversation isn't really about people being replaced by robots. It's about being outcompeted by someone who knows how to use these new tools. In financial modeling, that means using AI not just to be faster, but to get deeper, more reliable insights than ever before. All right, so to really get a handle on what this means for finance, we kind of need to pop the hood and see how it all works. So let's start with the new AI hierarchy and see how all these pieces fit together. This diagram makes a really complex topic super simple.
Stop, Valentina, please pause it. Thank you. Valentina, that's not your voice, is it? Why are you not on camera? What's going on? Oh, I know. I like them. That's other members of our Sun product team. That's one of my favourite backgrounds in the entire group. So that's if you think I'm weird, you haven't messed the rest of the team. So, Valentina, what's going on? Because we do want to talk about various AI tools, and we started off with a bit of a video because we realised we didn't have enough time, and then we realised we didn't allow for Celia was going to have a 4-hour introduction. But in terms of what have you just been playing?
Okay, so that is a video generated by a very famous AI tool called NotebookLM. I'm not sure if anyone have used it. The magic is you can turn text into video within a few minutes, and it really sounds like human saying. So another video I have already prepared is generated by Synthesia. So if we have a quick look, you can see the difference between these two.
No pressure on Valentina. I'm here, and this is my role. My role is to buy her time while she quickly scurries around looking for the other thing.
If anyone on the team wants to put the name of those tools in the chat, in case people are interested in investigating, that would be great.
Okay.
In an AI world, specifically how risk, accuracy, and assurance change when artificial intelligence becomes part of our modeling and produces the same risks into financial models. Generative AI, large language models, are very good at language. They predict the next most likely word.
Okay, this is another AI app tool created by Synthesia.
Now that doesn't work so well for me. So just to explain why we've started off this, because we know what you're looking for is how can AI help build financial models, and we're getting there. But if we start with that, everyone's going to switch off and not listen to the rest of us. So we wanted to show you, because when you do reporting, you want to engage. And let's be honest, it's financial modeling is a communication tool, and there are actually various ones out there. And we believe that we're not bothering with Hey Jen here, and Chris or Sam, if you could put Hey Jen in there as the third one. We think, as Deepak has put in there, winner NotebookLM, we do think that NotebookLM is better for actually engaging audiences. We find Synthesia works better when you speed it up slightly, but there are some issues with NotebookLM, aren't there, Valentina?
So NotebookLM, you can see the both videos, and they are quite impressive, but they are not perfect. NotebookLM's audio sounds very natural. The pauses, the tone, the pacing, it feels quite human. But the video itself is generated mainly from the prompt. You don't fully control what the visual produces. Sometimes it surprises you in good ways, sometimes not. So on the other hand, Synthesia gives us a much more control. You can write your own script, choose an AI after, adjust each slide scene by scene. So that flexibility is great, but it also takes more time to set up. And sometimes the voice can sound slightly robotic. So what we know from this is like different AI tools are built for different purposes. Some are good at predicting languages, some good like generating visuals, some good at structure, and some good at the calculations. And today we are like shifting this same idea into financial modeling.
No, thank you. And just to be clear here, the one thing is that, nothing really beats the sort of the human presentation, because otherwise it might sound robotic and stop in the wrong places. But the thing is, you were warned about my sense of humor at the beginning. This is why I've got 3 other people, so that they can all apologize profusely for the rest of it. But just going back to the first video, because I want to go that we all just think about, when we're doing financial modeling, it's about building the model and any tools for that. But in terms of presenting the results, getting it across and so on, going through, you want to make it as engaging and through as so much as possible. Now, we didn't show the whole 5-minute video from NotebookLM because, we were never going to. But, well, let me just show you some of the source material for that. I'm just going to share my screen for a second. Can everybody see my screen all right?
It's coming up.
So this
Yes.
is, we've got a newsletter. And if you want to join our newsletter, feel free. We don't bombard with spam. It's once a month. Sam, can you put the link to our website in there? You just register at the bottom, and you can see this one's 59 pages. But what we did was we based it on this article here, Auditing an AI World. And that was all it was, with Liam's normal sense of humour in here and goodness knows what in there. But you'll notice a lot of the graphics that were in that actual PowerPoint slide that we showed were generated by NotebookLM and were not actually part of this. And it didn't just read out what I've put in here. It's come up with its own thing. The problem with NotebookLM is it's difficult to edit. You have to sort of re-prompt, but having a play with these sorts of things, I think, is what's going to make us all relevant in the 21st century, because let's be honest, we're all worried about AI. Anyway, we dove straight into that because we didn't want to introduce Valentina, so you didn't know her voice beforehand. Let me now take time to introduce the three other members of the team. So we've got Ilgar Zarbaliev is floating in the wings as an attendee just because we thought four was enough here, and nothing against Ilgar, who is more than happy to chat too. But Valentina, what would you like to tell us about yourself as you were first cab off the rank?
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Valentina, an analyst at some product. I have been here for 1.5 years and am passionate about AI tools and already tried different AI tools in our financial audit modeling. And in the future, we consider like use AI in financial audit. That's what I'm working on, and that is what I'm passionate about. That's all about me. Thanks.
You've got your own YouTube channel as well. Before, I didn't even know, over 100,000 subscribers on your own channel in, was it Mandarin? In terms of on AI. So if people want to be confused in other languages, feel free. It's Valentina can put her link down in the chat there. We have two others. We'll start with Sam.
Hi everyone, my name is Sam Ngô. I'm from Vietnam. I'm a senior analyst at Summerlin. I'm working here for more than 3 years already. So I'm the owner of the blog series A to Z of Tech at Summerlin. I think that's pretty much about me.
Oh, I think there's more to Sam, and congratulations, he recently got married. And as I told him, marriage isn't a word, it's a sentence. Anyway, and finally, last but not least, Chris.
Hello, I'm Chris. I'm at some product for a bit more than 1 year now. So I'm trying to be better at AI. And it's still a hard job to keep track of the latest developments every day. I'm sure most of you feel the same. So we are all in the same boat, trying to catch this new wave of technology, which will make us redundant or not. So that jury is still open, but we are riding the AI wave at the moment.
Right. And yes, Jeff, Chris and Sam do share the same apartment. In terms of, I'm trying to work out whether Chris is a Synthesia avatar there actually, but that's another thing. I don't know if he's Chris couldn't be here
trying
today.
to make it sound more AI-like.
Okay, let's put the slides up. Who's looking at the slides? It's Sam's going to put the slides up. It's not death by PowerPoint. I think you've got some idea of what we're going. We're going to start with a few slides just to introduce things, and then shows things in here. So who's kindly putting those up? So we are looking at AI tools for financial modelling. We've mentioned Synthesia and NotebookLM already. I put 11 Labs up in the thing and didn't explain it as well, which is, I think 11 Labs is one of the best audio ones for actually talking, because it's really uncanny how it sort of stresses the right words, has a sense of humour, and even draws breath. But it's not the best for the slide deck. So have a play with those. So moving on to our second slide in here, what I wanted to explain today's session is that when we actually build models, there are 6 parts of model development altogether, and we tend to think of that fourth one that's highlighted in the graphic there, the build, the construction. But there's actually, and I've just realised here we got the numbering wrong in here. We were all looking at the slides, and I've just realised we've got 1, 2, 3, blank, 4 and 5. But it should be 5 and 6. Oh, well, one of the things you can do is you can not count on financial modelers. There you go. So we found our first error of the day, and we didn't even use AI. So the first stage is scoping to agree on the purpose, the objectives, and the key stakeholders. 2 is planning, confirming the inputs, constants, calculations, timelines, etc. Between scope and plan, you're determining what's in and what's out. And then you've got designing, looking at structural high-level relationships between model elements, mind mapping, and so forth. Now, sometimes they blur together, those 3, but various tools out there are very, very good at this. So things like lots of various open source. You've got Gemini, you've got OpenAI, you've got ChatGPT, Copilot. All do these. I've got to say, Copilot for Word, PowerPoint, things like that, really, really quite good, especially if you get your prompts right. And it can help you design things in here. If I forget build, which is what we're going to be focusing on, we can even get it to design tests, stress test things, and so on, if the numbers are already in there and the mechanics are going through, and we can get it to put training materials together and develop documentation to summarize. All those things, really good. Don't want to spend so much time on those things because you've probably noticed that for yourself. All I will say is I'll give one warning. We were doing a presentation in the UK, and in the UK, I decided to open up a Word document and ask, because it was an in-house training course for just one company, to build a 10 to 20 page strategy document for this business, just to show the power of Copilot. And it started to do it, and then suddenly one of the senior people in the room went, stop, 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 stop. And the reason being, one of the things it was revealing was a secret project that was even secret from its own staff. And it had come up because somebody had obviously used an AI tool to try and help craft it for a board presentation or something, and therefore it had been trained and it had been up on the cloud and now was open slather for anybody. So do be careful if you use them, but we are looking at focusing on the tools for the build side. Yeah, it is scary, Daniel. I was going to say, we took it straight off, and they were really worried how we got that. I said, well, one of your teams put it up. So do check the whole time what the tools are. I mean, Claude's been a good one in the past that's actually been used by academics and people in the legal persuasion because of the fact it's not been sharing. But as Chris can tell later, I think it was late September, they changed the policy where you had to opt in to opt out of revealing all your information in there. But more on Claude later. But that does bring us nicely into the next one, which is the AI tools slide. So the tools we're going to be considering, I love these icons. Sorry, I get very excited here. I'll just try that again, which brings us on nicely to the next slide. Can't get the staff here. We've got 3 of them there. Again, I agree. We've rehearsed this well, you can tell. So the reason I've got the gang with me is they're going to go through these things in a minute or two. Oh, they're just doing that all the time now. Excellent. Is we're going to look at ChatGPT, Copilot, the Excel's agent mode, and Claude, the Excel add-in as opposed to Claude itself. And we've got the gang to help us out with that. So let's move on to the first one, which is ChatGPT. So I'm going to go back to Valentina for this one. What do you want to tell us about ChatGPT, Valentina?
Okay, so ChatGPT is the earliest AI model we ever used before. So ChatGPT is excellent at explaining financial concepts, drafting model structures, and writing example formula or code. Also help document assumptions. For example, you could see explain how a 3-statement model link together, and ChatGPT will give you a clear, structured explanation. But here is the catch. ChatGPT does not make decision for you. And it can sound confident even it's wrong. That is AI hallucination, which is very scared. And ChatGPT depends heavily on how good your prompt is. So everyone use ChatGPT. You can ask it the same question, but the output will vary from your own prompts. So think of ChatGPT like a very fast assistant, helpful but never the final authority. You still need the professional judgment.
Thank you. And this brings us nicely. We're going through in here that what we're talking about is we're going to show Excel examples very shortly. We're looking at the Microsoft ecosystem. So the others that we're looking at here, so the next slide up is Copilot. What we've got on Copilot in here is there's the Copilot tool in here, but there's also the Copilot function, which is a native Excel tool that allows you natural language prompts and so on. And if you've got it in the beta version, you can see that it's got the prompt and text. It underlies something what's called the large language model. I keep getting told off by my editor that large language model is supposed to be lowercase. We refuse and keep putting it in there. But a couple of the things to be aware of with these tools is we've got the issue that large language models are not good at calculating. It's like they go off and Google it, for want of a better thing. You know, 7 times 8, it's going to get the answer is 56. You know, and it'll find that. But if I say what's 1,495 times 17.32, it's going to have a bit more of a problem of getting through it. And they've got high error rates. And it just amazes me if you go to the actual thing about the Copilot function, and I'll just put this in the chat so you can have a read of this. When it was first announced a while ago, so some of this is a little bit out of date, but I've just put a link in here and I'll just share my screen if I may. Can everyone see my screen now? Yeah, we've got an article here where we talked about the Excel Copilot function and what's going on in here. And you can actually see going through, we've got some issues which I'll show in a minute, but it actually says Microsoft states, let's make this a bit bigger. Microsoft states that to ensure reliability and to use it responsibly, you should avoid using Copilot for numerical calculations. So, you know, it's like, you know, what? And this is one of the things, there is confusion between Copilot and agent mode, and Chris and Sam are going to go on about that in a moment or two. But let me just give you an illustration here. Here's something I prepared earlier. Finally, 33 minutes in, we've got something in Excel for you. Sorry, we're almost out of time, but we did get here eventually. We can build more sophisticated models than this. But what we're going to do in here is I've got some products, some amounts, a growth rate each period, and a gross margin, a tax rate, and a discount rate. Just a nice simple thing here. So there will be a test at the end. You've all got to devise this in a few seconds. But what I've done is, here's something I prepared earlier. I've come up, now the colouring of this is a bit arbitrary, but I made it look a bit prettier, is I wrote this prompt earlier. So whether you're familiar with the Copilot function or not, this isn't the world's most complicated thing. It's, you know, I've got 4 products with names and they're in cells B4 to B7. So Alpha, Bravo, Charlie and Delta. They'll generate a revenue of, and we've got then C4 to C7 in the first year and then grow. And you can read the rest of this better than I can say it. But you get the idea. It's pretty simple and we'll work it out. And it's produced this dynamic array thing. So this is going to work well in Excel 2019. But the fact is, it's something that you can actually put together and go through. Now, I'm going to shrink the formula bar down here so you get the idea. Now, of course, the first problem I've got with this is you can't see the underlying formula in here. And there's a reason for this. There are no underlying formula. Essentially, what Copilot function is doing is it's going off to OpenAI and it's having a conflab and coming back with the answer as a result of that. Now, I thought we'd have some sort of, Celia, how good's your mental arithmetic?
Not very good.
What's 1,000 times 17%? Any ideas?
170?
No, I'm sorry, you're wrong there. Apparently it's 140.
Oh.
Honestly, you do need to get better with this, Celia. It's a case of, but that's what makes us good MVPs. We stuff everything up. So the thing in here is we've got it does do better with 2,000 times 44%. And actually, if I go in here and do a formula of that divided by that minus 1. Always good to watch an Excel MVP trying to write complex formula under pressure, isn't it? That gives me 0.02, which if I just go in here, let's make that a percentage and have a few percentage points here and grow that along. Oh, look, it's working quite well. We've got our 2%, which is what it's supposed to be doing. Very nice. Why did I choose Bravo? Well, if I chose actually the first one, we get random things of 1.001. which shows inconsistencies in formula. But one of the biggest dangers, one of the things we do as a company is we audit models. And with the advent of AI, AI is going to build more and more models. model auditing is going to become more and more and more important, and it's going to be a skill that we're going to need to have to go through to recognize inconsistent formula, because this might seem minor, but if it's out at all, something's wrong. And if you actually work out things like discount factors, so sorry, this isn't meant to be an academic venture on net present value calculations, but if I take equals 1 divided by open brackets 1 plus the 8% for the discount factor here, and put that in here, we'll just get that down to 3 decimal places because that's what accountants like for some reason. And I'll copy that across and then just make that here. And the rest of the team will shout at me saying, Liam, that's not a consistent formula. But we've got these things in here. What these numbers are supposed to be, it's supposed to be equal to this number here multiplied by that number. So if I take that and then subtract off that number from it, it should come to 0. Oh. And this is the sum of them. And if we sum those, so if I take the sum of those, and we're doing it at post-tax, so 1 minus the tax rate, which is up here. Hang on, I've got that right. So it shouldn't be that. It should be the sum of. Sorry, it should be the sum of these. I've got it completely wrong. Liam rehearsed this better next time. So if I just do that H4 times H70, that one there. If I take that, so that's the actual proper ones here, and I take this as equal to the sum of those instead, that's giving me 7864. That's what the number should be. We're getting 1998. And now, normally with AI tools, they're actually close. They're closer than that. And that's one of the things that really worries me as an auditor, because when we do our sense checks, that's what AI is doing as well. Because it knows it hasn't got the calculation engine in there. So we've got to think of another way, you know, and to put it through. So I thought that was more useful than, I'll stop sharing. We can go back to the slides. Thank you, whoever's putting those on, to give an idea. You know, we're happy to take questions as we go. But the beauty is, okay, I've used the Copilot function there, but you can use other tools that Chris, Valentina, and Sam are going to go through in a few minutes. But one of the things it's going to do is they will get better. They will get better and they'll get closer. And it's going to give us more time to think about those actual models we build. And we'll do the value added stuff that we were meant to bring in. Like, are they the only products? Is it right that the growth rate should be the same each period? Is the gross margin always going to be the same? Will they cannibalize against each other? Or should we do midpoint discounting? You know, why is the tax rate always the same? Lots of other things in here you can start to add that you don't have time for when you're building a model manually. Okay, so this one's giving a slightly different example, but the same sorts of problems. Thank you. Let's move on to the next slide now. So in here, people get confused between Copilot and agent mode, don't they, Chris?
Yes, that's let's clear that confusion once and for all. What is agent mode and what is Copilot? Copilot, as Liam just mentioned, it's the function that it lives as a function in Excel, whereas agent mode, it's on the sidebar. Okay, up till now, up till some days back, depending on the subscription you have in Microsoft Excel, agent mode is only available on Excel Online. But some few days back, it's available on the desktop version of Excel as long as your file is saved on SharePoint. Okay, you can't save your file on your desktop or on Google Drive, for say, but on Microsoft SharePoint, if you save your file, you can use Copilot on the desktop version. Okay. So,
and does it require a license, a special license as well for agent mode, the Copilot license? Yes, right?
Yes. The licensing has changed slightly. One of the Excel higher tier license, without the Copilot license, I believe you can access it. I don't have the exact details, but the situation has been quite fluid lately on who can access it.
I've just put into the chat a link which sort of explains how to get it. I think it's in there, or it was at least linked through, so you can read up the different licenses for it. Sorry to interrupt you, Chris.
Yes. So agent mode, I'll just read from the PowerPoint. It's more like a functional collaborator that generates multi-tab workbooks. Let's think about it. It's a normal prompt that you write on ChatGPT or any other AI. Give it the same instructions, and it will work it out and give you the answer in your Excel workbook. Okay, so it has some logical consistency. It builds in all the checks and uses all the standard framework. It will work like you are giving the instruction to a member of your team. Just build me this model, build me this calculation. Do not focus on which formula it will use, even though you can tell it. It will go and find its way and give you the solution. But that being said, when it gives you the solution, just be careful, test it, audit it, and everything. Don't take everything for granted. But I believe I won't say it's a better approach, but it's a tool that we will use more than the Copilot function. So I find it more useful than the Copilot function, if you'd ask. But everybody has different ways of using Excel. I can't talk for everybody. An experienced Excel user may find the Copilot function useless, whereas someone with less experience may find, oh, I type something in the Copilot function, it gives me the answer. But as Leah mentioned, the caveats, we need to take care of all those potential errors and everything. Okay, so that's about it on the difference between Copilot and agent mode. And by saying Copilot also, I want to highlight something that I had some questions also, people being confused. There's Copilot and Copilot function. That's also two separate things. Let's not be confused about what Copilot, which is in the sidebar, and the Copilot function, which is an Excel formula in Excel. Just to be clear on it. So the agent mode, Claude, if you go on YouTube currently, there's a lot of influencers and presenters who have been raving about the Claude Excel add-in and how it's really good in Excel. And that's a bit similar like agent mode. And that will be our next topic. We've compared agent mode and the Claude in Excel function. The Claude in Excel function, it's an add-in in Excel. Just let me maybe share my screen just to give you a sense of it. Just bear with me 1 second. We'll go about everything that's on this report afterwards, but just want to explain to you something. So I don't have the Copilot here. Usually that's the Copilot formula. But there's Copilot here also. That's different. And that's, you don't need the subscription to access some of the tiers of this. You can type and it gives you the answers, a bit similar like another large language model like ChatGPT. Then we have the agent mode in Copilot. This one you need Excel Lab and it's available on Excel Online. So that's the agent mode. Okay. So just be careful. We don't need all of this. Then you have Claude in Excel add-in, similar to agent mode. While agent mode, you need to access it on the Excel cloud. And since some few days back on the desktop Excel, but saved on SharePoint, Claude in Excel lives in your workbook and you can access it straight away as an add-in. That being said, you need to have a Claude subscription to access it. Okay, just let's be careful on getting all the subscriptions tier right. Previously, it was only available to max users, which costs over $100 a month, but currently it's available to the pro users also, which is at $20 per month. But it's got some limitation, but I find it. Yes, Celia, that Claude in Excel, it is an add-in. So just use the usual steps to add add-ins in Excel.
So on the add-in button on the home tab, go search for it there. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
So I'll pass the button now to Sam, who will make a demo.
We're doing this bit in semaphore. Sam's decided he'll stay on mute.
Sorry, everyone.
Sorry.
I had a sound problem earlier. Sorry,
Yeah,
sorry.
This time the problem was between the keyboard and the chair, I think.
Okay. So I mean, we have been testing a few Claude to ask it to build a few models. So we had a few tests. So the first test I've been having with it was I asked it to build a three-way integrated model in dynamic array, and I also recorded the answer they given us. So this is just my prompt, really short, and it do step by step. It creates assumption section, key assumption, all the working, and they work out the formula, and the result it's really long. So this is the first time when they first release, and they give us the license to use it, and as you can see, it's really long, and they try to verify a few key steps. And the problem is after they reduce the model, so this is the model they reduced, you can see there's no dynamic array in this model at all. And at least like the band check, they on band now. And as you can see here, like Claude in Excel is on the right side here, and there's no history on locking. Uh, what I noticed is like recently they just added this session login. So what it does is like after you chat with it, it will create a sheet called, I believe it's called Claude lock or something. Then they will locking all of the answer they given you in like really high level, not in the detail level. So that that was a real basic test I have with it. Then later, the second and serious test we had with it, we asked it to build a three-way integrated model, and this time every pair is more detailed prompt. So we asked it to build in sort of like control account way. So we had like something like opening balance, on increases, on decreases, and closing balance. So that you create one control account. So like for example, you had like opening account receivable, then you plus your credit sale minus your cash received from customer, then that's your closing account receivable. And so, and this also lists out on the item I want on the balance sheet, and ask it to create the control account for each of those items. And so also the deliverable section, why I expect that there should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like at least 5 different sheets to show these structures. So the result I have, it was given us, they were like, I believe, let me open up, there were 7 sheets. So we had input sheet, we had control account sheet, sorry, 6 sheet. I need to count again. Yeah. So this is the input. They had all the revenue assumption, really basic assumption, and they also create some sort of like model node where they use blue for hard-coded number, black text for formula, and green text for link, and key check like yellow highlight. So they just like noted and they created that rule, and you can see that the model they built with the control account and income statement and cash flow. Then the extra sheet they given us is the dashboard, and they also highlight it's sort of like the output of the text of the chat here. So I can give you this. This is the question, the prompt. Then that is the answer. So later I will do a live section, like show you guys how it like do each of these steps, and during those steps you can like interrupt it, and you can add more instruction or like change the direction if you don't want a certain thing in the structures. So this Claude, usually Claude in Excel, I usually call it like a collaborators. So that means is like you can redirect it um, like mid view, not like the agent mode. So agent mode, I usually call it the thinker. It took really long time to think before it process any data, and you can see the parameter here. So that is a drop down up on the code, up on the I believe this XML or something. So they will paste all of these data in the cell with all the information. They keep it bold, font size, and background color. And so it re as so during the build, I believe I saw I don't remember whether it was, but like it doing it recheck itself. So it was showing they had some sort of error in the balancing, and so they recheck it and they identify it and they fix it. Yeah. So here you can see we also have a problem is credit with the Claude one. So when I run it and let it do what it does, and at that time it just released, so it take up all of my credit in just like one section. So I had to wait until like 2 p.m. at that day to continue to do asset to continue when they let up here, and later they fix up all of the thing. And here, when I realize they had some problem with account receivable, like account receivable in the model, they doesn't have anything, and so it go back to the Excel file, and they fix it and all balance out the fix here later on. There's a still small, I think routing error here, but it should be fine. And so the third test we had with it, we tried to compare it with agent mode. So we had write really simple form right now. So we want both the model be a DCF model. So we're using workbook like step-by-step logic, and we had just hope that idea from like the coloring, like blue for input, black for calculation, green for link between sheet, and red for check, and no hard coded in calculation area, and no circular reference. Some of it might accidentally create circular reference in the model, so just make sure they're not doing that. And all assumption must sit in single input sheet, and all calculation had dedicated working sheet, and output summarized separately. That all the rule you can read here that we use to create. So let me open up back. So this is what the model, the agent mode given us so far. So you can see it compact, and so later on you can ask it to like remake it into the layout you want. But like you need really detailed prompt to tell it how you want it. So the way the agent mode here do is like they input it and they refer it to the all the related item, and they do the calculation, and you can see us construct each of the formula cell correctly here. Then here also brought in the data, the input, then do the modeling here. But they could do more on the formatting, and that the check. The check is not really do the check, but like it's horrible and long formula, but like it's just repeating all of the lines, so you can see it here. So that the agent mode. Next one is the Claude one. So the Claude one, so they give us a really nice summary tool, nice summary page, the input here. And so they also note it down here. What happened here is like they do refer to different sheet using green, but what they do is they embed the external reference within the formula, and so it might be a bit more difficult to like trace a formula than using Claude one, designation mode one. You can see all of these are direct external reference valuation and on check on path, and this formula look easier to read and navigate the check. So let's start with. I'm not sure if we have time, but so maybe.
Yes, you have time.
Okay, thanks. So maybe I just take one of the model that Liam built. So this is a really basic model of 3 financial statement that Liam built before. So they had a general assumption section, calculation, opening balance sheet, income statement, balance sheet, cash flow, on the lookup, timing, error check. So what I'm going to do here, I'm using Claude. Okay. So maybe I need to turn off the logging. Okay.
So just so you are aware of the time, we still have like 30 minutes left, or more than 30 minutes. So you have time.
Okay.
And we don't have
let's
a hard
say like
stop, so be at ease.
navigate the opening balance sheet. So let's say with very simple problem. Okay, as we navigate it. Okay. Now what I wanted to do is I maybe change or update up all these assumption cell. So let's update the assumption here. So I'll be more clear as possible. And actually I should ask it to ask before added, so it don't accidentally delete something that important or the data, and you can like review it action before doing it. So what it does is usually planning before it do something. I want my input to be in million, update that assumption for me. So you can see it reading the sheet. So it's using some sort of the external show. I'm not sure if it open Pi Excel, but you can see it reading it, and right now it's asked for to update currency to million in US, and it say it identifying sheet ID number 2, range G45 something. Let's say and allow it to do the that. Let's actually just go to here and update the this currency, the unit currency into million. Okay, change on. How about like add a scenario analysis into this model for me. Let's copy this prompt. I also open up my Copilot agent mode here. I also add in agent mode scenario. And here, while thinking, so full model, file scenario, new sheet. Let me stop it in mid view. Add new sheet called scenario. So what happened is when I stop it in the middle, and let's still remember the instruction I given us before, and they also append this instruction. So they add a new sheet here called scenario. Oh, for now it doesn't add. It doesn't remember this instruction. Okay. The joy of like running live. It doesn't like go the way you want. And you can see Copilot still thinking and planning out the the action they're going to take. Why Claude 1? Let's go back here. So it's asking like, what should the scenario vary? Let's say full P&L assumption. File scenario again.
Can I ask something, Sam?
Yes.
Someone, who was it? Henry, is asking, are you using the two tools in the same workbook or one tool into separate workbooks?
Two tools in the same workbook right now at the moment.
Okay. Okay.
So what I'm doing, I asked it to do. I'll put it into different worksheet, so it can.
So they don't collide with each other.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's a risky move, but yes.
Yeah.
So you can say it's still thinking. It's like what it does here, and then they analyze the whole structure of this whole workbook. And this one already done. It's how called that number. Can you add the formula in for me?
Please.
Maybe.
Well, this highlights a point, actually. I mean, I'd sort of say, just to go in here, that people think that AI is going to be the godsend for everything in here. You're going to go through a lot of iterations, and there's been various studies from MIT and others that claim that if you use AI for pretty much most tasks, it's going to add 20% to your time. And we all think that's on the low side. Chris is going to give you a frightening statistic in a bit about how long it's taken to actually build another model, but we'll come to that later. I'm just buying you a bit of time, Sam. That's all, just while you're getting that together.
Something weird happening here, but yeah, I think we should proceed to Chris and let's see the result later on.
And then we'll come back to some.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I won't run any live experiences as some, but I'll draw from previous experiences and which took a lot longer than what Sam mentioned. Let me share with you on screen one model first. So, and I'll walk you through why and how I built that model. So that's a model for a brewery operating in Australia and New Zealand for over 10 years. Okay, so everything has been created by AI. So you'll see, we'll go through all of the sheets and everything. It's not all best practice and everything, but there's been, if you look at this, there's been no human intervention. It's just the prompt. Everything has been done through one prompt, okay? A single prompt without changes. So the reason why I wanted to build a brewery model in one of Liam's training courses, he uses the brewery as an example, and at the office we've been having kind of a debate about the debate is about the context window, whether it will support a big model. Okay, so I really wanted to get that context window to, I'm trying to share something. So I really wanted to push that context window include to the limit. Okay, so I wrote a really detailed prompt of 11 pages. Okay, the prompt only is 11 pages, and it defines what to do, how to do it, and everything. So, and all the detailed items you might expect for a brewery, the geography, the markets, the taxation. In Australia, alcohol is a beer, a lager is not charged at the same rate as a stronger beer, as the alcohol content will be different. So the taxes charged will be different. And I wanted the model to capture those nuances and give it all in the prompt. Okay. The excise duty, by that I mean the excise duty structure of beers is quite different in Australia and New Zealand, and all the specific taxes and how to build its cost structure, to build all the bill of materials that goes into beer manufacturing, so that afterwards we can have a proper costing model, the financing structure, how and when we will expand the business, and all of it. Okay, so I don't want to bore you with 11 pages of prompts, but when I was trying it, it was on Opus 4.1. It was failing. It was running for 12 hours and it was failing. So I rejigged the prompt with trial and error and everything, and it was failing still as I was pushing the context window to its limit. So I went through it for over 2 weeks, and with trial and errors, it was failing. Then Claude launched Opus 4.5. With Opus 4.5, it worked. It had a bigger context window. It worked, and it gave me this monster, which has got everything. And at first glance, you will see everything working. But there are some caveats I want to bring it. First, it took 6 hours to run in Opus 4.5. I haven't tried it yet in Opus 4.6, which has 1 million tokens as context window, but I believe it will be significantly better. But while you look at this model and think, oh, it's a nice model and everything, is it investor grade? Can I take it out to the investors? First thing you'll notice, there's none of the formatting of a typical financial model, even though in the prompt, I believe I mentioned it. I mentioned it somewhere in the prompt, but it did not provide that. But there's something I want to highlight. Then I asked Oscar, which is our resident specialist auditor, audit this model. Tell me how you think, like you would audit a proper client model that will tell us where we can improve this model. Oscar, as usual, he came up with 85 findings. I agree 47 of them were queries, whereas the rest were some solid findings, 38 solid findings and everything. So we can go through some of them, but I'll take you through some of the inconsistencies that you would expect as an experienced modeler to pick up. So there are several stock keeping units, SKUs, like whether the beers are bottles, cans, or kegs. The order it puts them, sometimes it includes bottles before cans, and sometimes cans before bottles. While it's not mathematically incorrect, it's not a consistency you would like to have a model to show to your investors or your superior. Okay, so that's something it's nice to have, but of course, if any experienced modeler is reviewing, they would not accept something like that. Okay, so there's a lot of hard-coded values in some of the formulas, which is a no-no in financial modeling, and that's something nobody will accept. But when you look at the model at face value, nobody will tell you, okay, it's there are some hard-coded numbers in the formulas. Those are the items that make you be very careful in think well in getting it. So this, yeah, I asked for a scenario selection in the prompt, but it did not have managed to build a scenario selection. So there's a lot of hard coding that Oscar highlighted, and Sam also mentioned it in his presentation, which we find AI does a lot. And I shall not name the specific AI tool. I work mostly with Claude. I'm finding this a lot, but I must say with Opus 4.6 and the new skills it's calling, I'm seeing improvements on this prompt on a daily basis. But just yesterday or the day before I was running one, it still had some, but it's improving. So there are some assumptions I asked for inclusion. It did not use those assumptions when building the formula. It may look mathematically correct, but if you do some sensitivity analysis and want to change the assumptions, the model will fail. So it's not as robust and dynamic as you would like it. And as mentioned, the scenario manager also was not built properly. So those are where I believe it failed. But there's two items I want to highlight that that to the untrained eye gets easily caught. You can get easily caught. So that's a query, actually, that should be more of an error. So sometimes the gross margin percentage, it's calculating it on gross revenue and sometimes on net revenue. So there's no consistency and everything. I would have expected some questions to flesh this out, but it's still not there. But hopefully it will get there. But the gross margin percentage, the EBITDA percentage, and the net margin percentage were wrongly calculated. So just it's not to say that it got everything wrong, but there were some items which were wrong, which I believe the tool it's busy improving, and I'm trying to write some Claude skills, which is the new shining tool, to get it to improve those and set it as a template for use in the future. So as it gets trained on more data, I'm sure it will fix those items. But then, since we still have, do we have questions, or we still have some time? I have lots to show on this model, but if you have some questions,
Chris, I'm dealing with the questions. I'm dealing with a lot of the questions in the chat, so feel free to keep going at the meantime, and we'll happily do Q&A at the end as well.
Okay, so
you're on mute, Celia.
Sorry, and thank you. I was just going to say, in the end, if we have time and you want to address some of those questions with audio and video, because people who will watch later, they will not see the questions in the chat. If we have time, we can do some of those, the more important, most important ones. Thank you.
Okay, so I'll continue for the next 5 minutes. Hopefully, sounds pro.
Yeah, you have time. You have time. Yes, go ahead.
Then we can take the questions. That's nice. Thanks. So, just want to highlight on the prompt. I just want to highlight some items on how and why I built the prompt like that. Okay. So let's take. Let's start. So I like this website. Maybe we can include it in the chat. It's a really good website on getting the best out of building prompts using AI. So it explains the different types of prompting, like one-shot prompting, chain of thought prompting, when to use which prompt, and why, and how to get it to perform as you want. Sometimes a single word can make all the difference in prompting, and sometimes it's too much. I won't tell you the nuances. It's for me also, it's more of an art as a rather than a science at the moment. But this website helps me a lot. So the first words you see in the prompt, I try to ground the model as an experienced modeler. It makes the modeler as the central character of this plot, and by including it, you're an experienced modeler. I'm telling the AI model, I want a specialized answer, not a generalized cookie cutter response we usually receive from AI. So that's where the first sentences of the prompt were clear. So the words I used, it's more like freeway statement. That's in financial modeling, we use more of the word freeway statement model rather than income statement, balance sheet, cash flow. I wanted it to be more closer to the financial modeling terms rather than the accounting terms, even though both mean the same at the end of the day. We are, and also the specific metrics, and that's one of the questions of Oscar while he edited the model. Why I wanted the specific stock keeping unit and the main metrics to be hectoliters. You'll review all the financial statements of beer manufacturers such as AB InBev and the likes. They always, their key metric is how was their performance in hectoliters. I wanted this to be the grounding metric of the model, where everything will be compared to the hectoliter mark. So that was quite important to get that right. And of trade and on trade, that's really, again, industry specific. So the bill of materials, it's in cost accounting. Everybody, I believe a lot of you are accountants. Bill of materials, when we do costings, we always try to get the bill of materials of a product to understand what's each component of the cost in a standard costing environment. So this also wanted to get it to work properly in a standard costing environment. And as Sam mentioned, on Claude, shows it workings so that we can catch the errors before the end. When everything is chained, you only see the errors at the end, and it's really difficult to correct it in an AI environment. Imagine you have a presentation and it's running for 6 hours, and after 6 hours you find the errors. It's another 3 hours by the way time you prompt it, and it goes through the massive model and correct it. Whereas if you catch it in the middle, it's easier to tell it you're going in the wrong direction. Please correct it before going forward. That's not what I meant. The intent, that was not my intent. You got it wrong and everything. So that's where I like you see in a lot of my prompts, and I see a lot of specialists also included. I want you to reason in a clear, structured, step-by-step, and label any stages. So that's something that worked well for me so far, and I use it a lot in a lot of my prompts. So how did you break up the prompts? The scope, I've clarified the scope, the discovery phase, the understanding requirements. And on the prompt, you'll see it can ask me up to 15 questions. By asking the AI model to ask the human the questions, I get to understand whether my prompt is correct. I'm giving it the right instruction. And through that exchange, it's also questioning me whether I am right and I'm giving the right instructions. I see a lot of humans, a lot of us think the AI is wrong, but we never say, okay, did I give the right instructions to the AI? Did I speak its language? So we always expect it to speak our language, but maybe I'm not. It's not reading my intent correctly. By asking the model to shoot questions at me, it makes me re-question my belief and whether I'm prompting it correctly. That's something that's I find quite important and useful in other environments also when writing prompts. And the model architecture and everything, those are high-level designs. In modeling, the time structures, that's quite important. And I included it at the first because you get your time structure wrong, all calculations go wrong. And it's very important to get it to make it work properly. So I won't go through all the steps, but that's some of the ways I tried to make it work, but it was a lot of trial and error. It's not like at the first. But I believe in the
So,
next
Chris,
3 months. Yes, yeah.
I was so sorry to interrupt you. I was going to ask, so how long then has it taken to get that model into that state altogether then? What would you estimate that? Because I know you get asked this question all the time.
Yes, so around 2 weeks on and off.
So you're talking about 80 hours.
Yes, and it consumed
80
half
hours.
half of my monthly token on Pro, on Claude Opus Pro to get that model to work.
Yeah.
How many hours would it take you to do that manually? Approximately.
Manually, it will be less than 1 week, definitely. Yeah. From scoping to end.
2 to 3 days, I think. Yeah, 2 to 3 days.
Yeah. So it takes longer, definitely, using the AI tool, but we're still in the early days, and we all expect this to get better and better from here. So just the problems I encountered, and I mentioned this, it was failing on Opus 4.5, so 4.1, 4.5 it's a noticeable improvement, and Opus 4.6 has been released last week, and it's really, it's from the early feedback I've received, and digressing here, it's a really big improvement compared to 4.5, I can tell you. It's really faster, it compresses the data, the context window works better, and so I'm very eager to try everything on 4.6.
So may I ask another question then, Chris? Sorry to interrupt, because I'm just conscious here. In terms of, we've got Claude in Excel, we've got Claude, and we've got agent mode. They're the three that are pretty much building the models at the moment that we can see that are doing a fair fist of building the model in there. What are the strengths and weaknesses of each, would you say, in a few words for each one?
There's before answering that question, there's one important item I omitted to highlight. I presented the Claude add-in in Excel. This model was not run on the Claude add-in in Excel. It was run on the Claude in the Claude chat window, the normal Claude on the web. Okay, so that's different, and and the answer came back in Excel. So you can run it in Claude Code also, but it was not the Claude adding in Excel. Okay.
So can I ask something about it? In that case, how does it interact with your workbook if you are working on the chat on the browser? Does it give you a workbook each time, or how does that work?
Yes, it gives a workbook each time, and if you want to change any specific workbook, you upload that workbook and you ask it to change the workbook. That's different. Yes. Coming back to Liam's question. Liam, sorry, can you please repeat your question? Just
Sure. I was just going to say that the three that we've seen that will build models to some extent or another, we've sort of ruled out Copilot because it's more of a large language model. But are the agent mode, what some people describe as agent mode is what Copilot could have been, Claude in Excel and Claude. So what would you say the strengths and weaknesses of each, and when to use which, as kind of like a summary for this section?
Good. So some has proven that I don't have a hard and for
so one thing is the Claude add-in you can redirect during mid-build. Sometimes like I showed earlier, but it doesn't successfully show. But like sometimes you can redirect it during mid-build. While Claude on the web, like you only see the result at the end, so you cannot redirect it during the mid-build when it's building it up. Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's down to the task you are working on, and like Sam mentioned, if you want to redirect it during meal bill. But I will say is like all of us have our preferences, which LLM we are more comfortable with. It's just like, let's treat it like your colleague. You know, you get, after working with them for a while, you get to know their strengths and weakness, and you know which work to give to your colleague based on their specific strength and weakness. If you'd ask me, I'm a big Claude fan. I like to use Claude for everything. But agent mode in Excel, you can choose whether it has Claude as an LLM or ChatGPT also. So you have both options. So there's not too big of a differentiator here. But I don't know the specific guardrails that agent mode has included. But what I like with Claude also is there's Claude skills, and there's a pool of open source contributors contributing to Claude skills and improving the model. And every time you ask Excel to call it, it calls Claude skills, Excel skills in Claude, and every time it's a better or improved version. But since it's an open source, I can't guarantee it's a better and improved version all the time, but it works for me. That's what I like.
So conscious of the time, Chris, in terms of, I know some people may have to go off. I know it's not a hard stop, but people may go on. I just want to say, if people want to know more about some of this and what we're doing in particular, there's no sales pitch here because everything on our website is free. So you can go and have a look in here for there. I just thought I'd share my screen for a second. And so we've got a website, someproduct.com, which is over 3,000 pages on it now. Nothing compared to MrExcel.com, which has got about 770,000 pages, I think, on it. But we have in here a tip of the day, and right down at the bottom each day, if you mentioned about the newsletter, if you want to join our newsletter, just feel free to click here and subscribe. I hate people who spam once you actually click on a newsletter link and you get 1,000 offers and God knows what. So we don't. We leave you alone. So if you want to join the newsletter, feel free. We're going to be starting a shorter version of that in March, which my colleague Catherine Newitt is going to be sorting out. I think Ilgar's going to be helping with that too. But we've got various things in here. We've got news, blog and thought articles. One thing we've stayed away from today is what's going on with building financial models in Power BI. Because you can build a financial model in Power BI, and you know that maybe is a topic for another time. But the Copilot and others are available in there too. But we have in our news section, we talk about them. We mentioned that agent mode in Excel is now generally available, which is a link. We also highlighted, this is where some of our things about the Claude versus agent mode battle of the modeling AI assistants and our reviews are in here. So feel free to read through our versions of it. Nobody's sued us on them yet. And in our blog section, we actually have on Mondays, we have our A to Z of Excel functions and so on. But on Fridays, other than the challenge at the end of the month, we do AI. So Sam does the DAX on a Tuesday that he was mentioning before. Valentina and co write the AI articles on a Friday. And if you've got any particular articles, I put all our email addresses in there. So there's a few things you can have a look at for further reading because things keep moving on. Now, Celia's made the point that, I've been answering questions, as has Valentina, thank you, in the chat while we're going. And Henry, I'm really sorry I missed your question in there going through, but I think we cut everyone else's. I don't know if there's any questions just before we wrap up, Celia or Aurora, that we should go for the video and reiterate the answers, because I don't think the chat comes through on the recordings, does it? We put the winning lottery numbers in there as well, so bad luck if you were doing the video recordings.
Yeah. So Anthony, he mentioned the sales pitch, but he was asking if you are including AI in your sales pitch as a company when you are making an offer to a client. Are you telling them that you are actively investing in AI, learning and using AI for some of your work, or you don't mention that yet?
Oh, absolutely, we do. But we've been investigating very heavily. Sam, Valentina, and Chris are just the tip of the iceberg. Ilgar, as I say, is one of the audience here, has been looking into this, and we've got other members of the team too that would love to sort of show what they've been doing in here. We're trying to work out various things. It occurred to us very early on, we need AI audit tools to audit AI. One of the great things about AI, for instance, is that, and yes, the big four have invested billions of dollars, which of course we can't do, but you can actually review a model. So various calculations, assumptions, things like that. If you're looking at validation, what most people will do in the past is they'll sample. AI now allows you to actually look at everything. Explain the test, let it do it, and go and hunt everything. It can do a lot more calculations. And if you use the large language models, which I tore apart with the Copilot function, they're very good at spotting patterns and trends in there. A bit like the Explain the Difference tool in Power BI, for instance. So yes, we're using them, and we are starting up an AI division. We can't announce the people coming on, but we've been talking to various well-known people out there. They're going to come and join us as we start building some APIs and some audit tools and some Excel tools, because it's the future. We've got a project at the moment where we've got potentially 70 similar models we've got to build. Now, in the past, that would be ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. But now what we're going to be doing is, after we've built one or two of them, we'll use it to train and automate creation of the others. And we'll do it in such a way that it just go up there. Pardon?
Oh, sorry. I was going to ask you, are you still doing any of that work manually, like starting something from scratch as you were doing in the past, or you go straight away to AI and then work with what it gives you and improve that?
No, it's still stopped manually at the beginning, because as Chris has demonstrated with the brewery model, for instance, at the moment it takes a lot longer to do that, and you've got to be pretty expert in writing the prompts to get it to that state in the first place, which cannot be understated. It will come. The flipper will be there, but we don't start straight from scratch. We have some templates we've had for years for certain things like depreciation calculations and so on, but we can train those. We can put those into the AI model and say, right, develop this and so on. Yeah, we've got lambdas and things like that. It's using all of them and starting to realize what's right to use when.
Thank you. And another question that was kind of recurring there in the chat was about data safety. So people are asking, when we interact, when we let these LLMs interact with our workbooks, how safe is the enterprise private data with those interactions?
I think Valentina's best to answer that question when she's off mute.
Oh, sorry. So for financial modeling, we always use the enterprise or work version of AI tools rather than the personal account. This is very important, and this ensures that the terms of service legally protect your data from being shared or used for training. Like tools like Microsoft 365 Copilot and Gemini, and for workspace provide the enterprise protections. This means that data remains within your own organization and is not used to train or share to the public models.
I'd like to add a point to that as well, which is a corollary question about, do you own what comes back out of it as well? So if you are asking AI for tools, and you have got the protection locked down, what about, can you then copyright and patent? And there's case law out there saying you can't. Once, because AI has been the author of that, and that has no legal bearing, and therefore is now free to use, like the Happy Birthday song. And now this is still being tested, but it's just one of those things to be aware of that, in terms of this might limit what people use. We're finding for the really big sophisticated models where lots of refinancing and confidential projects on there, people are actually explicitly saying they don't want AI involved.
Yeah, I guess there's always the possibility of data going out somewhere we don't know where, right? I have that feeling still, and not fully trust, even if we are paying not to be shared, to protect it and all that.
I think that's a very healthy attitude to have, Celia.
Yeah. But then we get to that space where, okay, I want to do this faster, but I don't want to trust you my data, and we need to make a decision about it, and it's difficult. It's difficult. It's a dilemma there. Okay, any other things you would like to add to wrap this up? And any questions? There might have been one or two specific questions left behind at some point. Feel free to either repeat them very quickly at the bottom of the chat, or if you still want an answer, or just come off mute and ask directly the question. And while we wait to see if there's anything coming through, Hillary is saying it was interesting. Thank you. Thank you, Hillary, and everyone else joining us. I want to give you, the six of you here, Liam, Sam, Valentina, Chris, and also Ilgar. Everyone, thank you so much. You made an excellent job preparing everything. I can't imagine how much work you put into this, but I understand that it's now part of your investigation, part of your research, part of your work to do this type of job of preparation, of research, working on all these prompts and all that. It was eye-opening and very insightful for me. I hope it has been useful for everyone else as well. And thank you. That's all I can say is thank you for sharing all this work with us. And good luck. I know you are preparing a book to come out on this topic. So some of these materials cannot be shared with the audience directly as files because they are going to be part of this bigger project. But thank you for making yourselves available and sharing a little bit of it with us. And with that, it's my absolute pleasure. Anthony, AI or not AI, I'm impressed with the Sum Product team. Yes, they are top-notch team of financial modelers. And it's great to see you guys not fearing the new technology and just embracing it and riding the wave with it and do your best and create new practices around it. So it's really great to see that. Thank you, everyone. It was a great pleasure. We are a little bit over time.
Thank you for inviting us.
I'm not taking you more of your time. Enjoy your day. You guys live in the future there. It's February 12th for you guys already. We still have a night of sleep before then. Thank you. Thank you, everyone who came today. Thank you to the entire team. Have a good night. Bye-bye.
See you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.